Oh, perfect timing. It's 5 o'clock. I just noticed that. Excellent condition. All right. Give it a few seconds here just to see where we're ending up on. Could I use an extra bit of volume or should I leave it at that? I think I can go a little bit extra. Yeah. As long as it's not peaking in the red, it looks like it's fine. Okay, I have picture over on YouTube, on the YouTube page. Go to live chat. Okay, so I'll give it a couple minutes here. Felt like streaming for a little bit. Don't know how long this is gonna go for. Nate Zilla, welcome to the stream. I cannot believe that I was over here getting eccentric over the filters that I was putting on the microphone source, and then as I switched to the Shure, it sounds super professional. A little peek behind the curtain. This is basically the mic I use for my videos, which I actually just shot one. So, if you're wondering why my voice might sound a little raspy, a little hoarse, a little tired, I actually just got done filming. Well, not just got done. I want to say it's been about an hour, 45 minutes ish, somewhere between 45 to 50 minutes since I finished filming a video, which is probably not even going to go for like another week or so. I'm actually a little ahead of time on reviews. Why does the webcam do that? That's the only thing I really wish I could look up a fixture for this, is whenever color temperature changes, the saturation also kind of changes, like the red, like the hues change. I don't know why it does that. It's just a shame because resolution quality wise and frame rate wise, I like this camera a lot. But then again, I know that Logitech has come a long time since the C922, I think it is. All Out Gamer 24, welcome. What's up? So yeah, I'll just give it a few minutes. But as the title entails, kind of want to do a top 5 games of 2023. David, you're doing a top 5 of 2023 on February of the next year? What are you, an idiot? Possibly. But, yeah, I just, wanted to do like a discussion thing and also kind of use that as a form of prelude to the upcoming essay for Spider-Man 2, because I am going to be doing an essay on Spider-Man 2, kind of similar to how I did the 5-year retrospective for the first Spider-Man game, and then the 3-year, I guess you could say, 3-year retrospective or video essay I did on Miles Morales, which surprisingly just blew the hell up. I don't know how that happened, but it just blew up. I don't know if it was the algorithm. Well, it was definitely the algorithm, but it was a combination of the algorithm with also how popular those two games were getting with the release of Spider-Man 2. Just checking out something. But yeah, it was Spider-Man 2 that was just kind of skyrocketing. It's funny because it didn't do anything to my essay for the first game, but for some reason it just nuked the impressions for the Miles Morales essay. The Miles Morales essay just blew up to the point where it has now dethroned my most popular or my most viewed video on my channel before then. Because prior to that, the most popular video on my channel was my review for the Thomas Wayne Flashpoint McFarlane Batman. It was that video, and it was because of the albeit slightly somewhat clickbaity title and thumbnail where I showed the Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman, but he's holding 2 banned or censored logos or symbols or whatever. And then the title's like, oh, this figure's banned, or something about this figure's banned, and that was pretty much the guns that WB is trying to get rid of. And that racked up like close to about 200,000 views. But now, surpassing that by about 3,000. So at like 204,000, 205,000 is now the Miles Morales essay. So now I'm like, well, I got to do an essay on Spider-Man 2 and see how that does. I'm not, I, to kind of humble myself, as I always say at the end of my videos, humble yourself, stay humble. Um, I'm not going to full on expect the Spider-Man 2 essay to do as well, but I'm hoping that it resonates with people in a way that I. So we'll see. But yeah, I want to do like a quick 5-game countdown, top 5 games of 2023, and where does Spider-Man 2 land in that? While at the same time also just shooting the shit with some of you guys, kind of like I did last time, kind of talk about what upcoming videos I got planned. And also maybe if I put it in the title, but I don't think I need to bring it up any more than I already did in the video that recently also kind of blew up. I was, though, not to, make myself sound a little conceited here, but I was kind of expecting, because, everybody's talking about this game right now, I was kind of expecting the video to get some attention. Mainly in the comments, not so much views, but like in the comments because of the discussion around Suicide Squad and what that game did and all that stuff. We'll see if it even comes up in the chat, but I'm not even going to, kickstart anything myself. If anybody is able to bring a worthwhile discussion to the table, I might entertain it in the chat, but otherwise, I just, if I was to add anything to that prior video about how I hated that whole argument about the fact that it's called Kill the Justice League, and the whole problem is not that it's called Kill the Justice League or that you kill the Justice League, it's how, the methods, the mentality behind the writing. And since then, I really wish I was never to go into that direction as far as, agendas and messaging and things like that. But some things have come to light since I even made it. Because when I made that video, it was strategic. It was literally just about how they handled the Justice League from a strictly writing standpoint, and how disrespectful it was. Not just the Batman, but just literally all the Justice League members. But then I thought about the Justice League members. I thought about the members themselves, and finally, because I watched Luke Stevens stream the game. Some people were saying in the comments for that video that I never played the game, even though I mentioned in the video that I played the alpha. So I did play the game, and I even said that the gameplay is actually pretty good as far as the guns, as far as how tactile it feels to kind of dodge and shoot some of these enemies. But at the end of the alpha, I told myself, is this going to get old soon? And then the couple days leading up to the standard version of the release, the deluxe edition came out that allowed people to get like 3 days early access. Wow, I told myself, if somebody brings it up in the chat, and here I am starting it up. I am a hypocrite. Nate Zilla shouldn't have been in the Arkhamverse. Yeah, some people were saying that, hey, you could have this story play out. You can even kill the Justice League the way that you did, but just if you were to take it out of the Arkhamverse, that would have been an easy step to kind of, get that out of the way. And I'm like, yeah, thinking about it, I'm like, that could have just been an easy solve, but no, it, just, and even some people who finished the game were like, yeah, at the end of the day, it even with some of the leaked stuff that has come forward to suggest that something else is afoot as far as the seasons that are coming out afterwards, people are saying like, it was almost a marketing thing to say that it was taking place in the Arkhamverse. They were just like, yeah, it was just a marketing thing. Because if you think about it, there's no, almost no implications that factor in to the fact that it needed to be connected to the Arkhamverse. It's like, why? It almost didn't need to be. And some people were saying that if it didn't take place in the Arkhamverse, it probably would have been an easy ass fix. It really would have been. But yeah, when I made that video, it was strictly about the writing. I wasn't even thinking about like messaging or agenda, where we're at socially, all that kind of stuff. Until afterwards, like I said, I was thinking about the Justice League members, and then I thought of myself as I watched more of Luke Stevens stream the game. He streamed almost the entirety of the main campaign and even some side stuff. And then I watched some of those segments again in some other streams of people, people that I follow. And as I'm watching some of the cutscenes and gameplay, which again, from what I can tell, looks like it just got old really, really fast. And yes, even the people that were streaming the game were like, yeah, unless you're into looter shooters, it can get old for you really, really fast. And I can tell. There's some people that I follow on Twitch where when Suicide Squad came out and I started to see the gameplay, I'm like, there's going to be some people who are going to love this. And more power to them. They're going to enjoy it because they are into The Division. They are into Destiny. They are into insert looter shooter live service game here. New season's up, guys. Let's boys, jump in with the boys. Kind of dynamic. And that's fine and all, but as I saw some of the cutscenes play out when you take on these boss fights, because they're just retools of like the same ones. Like, oh my god, I failed to see any major change between the Superman boss fight and the Flash boss fight. I was like, they look the same. It's like that Office meme where it's like, it's the same picture. I'm like, Christ. Anyways, back to the main tangent. I saw the cutscenes for the Justice Leagues and members and how they get taken out. And then that's when it dawned on me where there's one Justice League member that doesn't get taken out the way that the others do. And you could take a wild guess who that Justice League member is. And I was like, oh, that's not subtle. That's not subtle at all. But maybe I really maybe am just overthinking it. It's just pure speculation, whatever. And then a few days later, through someone's stream, or I can't remember if it was a video, a YouTube video, someone brought up the character bios that are written in character by Lex Luthor in the game. And once again, look at all the character bios for the Justice League members, and there's one Justice League member written in a very different light than the others. And you can guess who that member is. It's the same one who has a very different way of being taken out than the other Justice League members when they are eliminated, neutralized, if you will. And those two together, I was like, man, I tried not to think of it this way, but I was like, oh, man. I usually don't go into that avenue, that alley of thinking. I always just toss it up to like bad writing or whatever. But when those two things came up, I was like, yeah, it's bad writing and people behind the scenes using the game to like push something or project something. And I'm over here like, God damn it. It's bad enough that it's a live service game. It's another that people can't blatantly see what they're trying to do here as far as like the writing and what they're trying to like say is okay. And that's when I just kind of drew the conclusion that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was not, it wasn't made for us. It wasn't made for the people who grew up with the Arkham series, with Asylum back in 2009, City in 2011, hell, even Origins in 2013, or Night in 2015. It's not for the people who liked those games. It's not for people who liked the classic superhero feel of those like 7th gen games from PS3, 360 era. it's not made for us. It just isn't. And hey, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. It's not made for us. It's made for modern audiences, and if they enjoy it, let them enjoy it. At the end of the day, that's not a game for us. It's for them. Let them have it. I'm simply just not gonna. I'm gonna vote for my wallets, like I vote with my wallet, like I always say, and do so by not buying the game. But it's a little bit of a lie to tell people, for people to look at me and be like, you didn't play the game, and I'm like, I played the alpha. I said it in the video. I played the alpha, and even at alpha level, it felt good as far as the gameplay. The gameplay did feel good. The whole time though, I was thinking, why is this in a Suicide Squad game? It could have been a brand new IP, and I probably would have supported it. Even like Tom mentioned in the chat, Tom and Temple, welcome to the stream. Just like you guys are mentioning, it's not even the same team. Because I love how, because I remember, I think it was Luke Stevens, he beat the game, he beat the final mission, credits were rolling, and it says right there, game director Sefton Hill, and I'm like, why the hell did you put Sefton Hill's name on there? He left. I mean, I think that he finished like the main duties on this game, but then he left. Like, as soon as the services weren't required, he's like, I'm out. And they created 100-star games. But they still put his name on there. And Sefton Hill is one of the OGs. He directed pretty much, or directed like the basic fundamentals, whereas I think there was a different director who headlined the creative stuff, with the writer Paul Dini. They were the three main ones. There's like there was a third person, Sefton Hill and Paul Dini. They were the three main trifecta, the holy trinity that handled Asylum, City, and Night. And though I will still say Knight has some problems, it really does. In fact, the Arkham Knight himself could have been better. Those three games, you can tell that there was a unified structure there, and they are not present for the creation of Suicide Squad. But yeah, Tom, wasn't even made by the same team, which is why the graphics are big downgrades. Well, here's the thing. Whenever they're in cutscenes, the graphics are great. When they're in cutscenes, the facial animations, the mocap, even the actual quality of the voice is good. The writing is atrocious, and the pacing, I'm willing to bet. I want to see some behind-the-scenes footage to prove me wrong. I want some behind-the-scenes footage to prove me wrong, please. But I'm willing to almost theorize that there was mocap in this game for the cutscenes. I don't think these actors mocapped with each other, though. I don't think they were in the studio together. Or the voice actors are in a booth, and the mocap actors did act with each other, like touching each other, hugging each other, high-fiving, whatever, but they are not the ones that are actually acting. They're just kind of pantomiming. And the reason for why I say that is because there's so many fucking cutscenes where the pacing is just off. There's like these gaps where, I can't remember what stream it was, but someone was playing. Oh, I think it was Angry Joe, actually. Angry Joe was playing, and someone in the chat said, where's the laugh track is missing? And I was like, yo, this is directed and paced and edited as far as the cutscenes are concerned. They're edited like there's supposed to be a laugh track. And the whole time I was like, yo, I would, if I wasn't so busy already, well, semi-busy, already with my own content on my personal channel, I would take the extra time as like a side activity to rip the cutscenes of the game from YouTube and put a laugh track and see if it fits, because I'm almost willing to bet it would fucking fit in some of those cuts, because that's how paced out they were. They're paced out like sitcoms where someone takes like Big Bang Theory, but they take away the laugh track and how awkward the gaps in between each joke are. That's how they're paced out. Go back and watch them. And I'm like, that's what it is. They're written like they're supposed to be a laugh track. And I'm like, unless you're actually doing a sitcom like Big Bang Theory, etc., don't do that. Write it like real people, or direct it like it's real people, and it doesn't feel like that's being done. But hold on, let me see what Temple was saying here, so I can give my voice a break here. I don't know who even is modern artists. Like most of them rejected in social, most of them rejected in social media. No, no, no. Go back on Twitter. There's a lot of people who are defending the writing of this game. I can see defenders of the gameplay because, like I said, even I said that the gameplay actually does feel pretty good. But since then, there's been a lot of people on Twitter defending the writing, saying that it's one of the best writing that they've ever heard. Then I go into their Twitter profile and I look at their bio, and let's just say there's certain things in the bio that they all kind of have in common, and I'm like, oh, that's who this game was made for. So, oh well, let them have it. True Rocksteady right now is 100 Star Games. Rocksteady is just a dead horse with a famous name, bought up by Warner Brothers. So, well, I definitely want to see what the effect of this whole thing, plays out in like 6 months' time, come August, and see how Suicide Squad is doing. Because I feel like this is the second strike for WB, because you know what the first strike is? It's actually for a game that I actually wholeheartedly really do like, which we'll talk about a little bit when I get into like my top 5 games of 2023 from last year and where Spider-Man 2 ranks in there. But Mortal Kombat 1, because from what I hear, Mortal Kombat 1 is dying. And they only have, 2 DLC characters out? They still have, 4 out? But the player base is dying, from what I hear. Like, not, and especially now with the release of Tekken 8, I'm like, yeah, I think you guys got to hurry up on that. Well, I want to say hurry up on the production of the DLC characters, but at the same time, I don't want people crunching. I don't want to have people sleeping in the office like that, so I'm a little torn on that. Knight has its problems, but compared to... Yeah, hearing all this talk about Kill the Justice League makes me want to boot up Arkham Knight and just play that. And going back to what Tom said about the graphics, in cutscenes, the graphics, the facial animations, top-notch. They really are. When you get into gameplay, it's still not bad. I'll go as far as to say that the actual lighting, ambient look to Metropolis and the textures on the characters don't look bad. But then you compare it to Arkham Knight, and it's like Arkham Knight has become a technically timeless. I know that's a tongue twister there, but has become almost technically timeless, where we're almost approaching the decade mark on Arkham Knight. One more year, and it's been a full decade since Arkham Knight came out, and some people will still testify and say that Arkham Knight looks like a game that could come out today and still pass as a PS5, Xbox Series game or Series X game. And I concur. Do you think if a studio like BioWare would try and carry a Green Lantern game like Mass Effect could work? Like you create your own Green Lantern and different classes, different constructs. That would be cool, but because it's cool, it's not going to happen. And keep in mind, somebody correct me on this. Does EA still own BioWare? Because that kind of answers your question right there. Wait, hold on. Screw it. I'm going to look it up. It looks like yes. So far. Let's see if I mean, obviously a lot of people have since left, some mainline people, but in terms of the company BioWare, yeah. Yeah. So unless BioWare was independent, I'm like, yeah, if EA, well, first of all, unless WB is willing to share, which I guess technically they could, because now they're taking to Monolith to make a Wonder Woman. But hey, Wonder Woman herself, even that game supposedly even had rumors, never got confirmed, and supposedly WB even I can't remember if it was WB or Monolith, denied the rumors that started circling that even Wonder Woman was going to be a live service game, didn't it? And since then, they're like, no, that's not true. It's not. It's going to be single player. And I'm like, there's no way to discount or refute the possibility that maybe at some point it did have live service elements. And now they're scrapping them, which means that the game's probably going to be out for like another 2 or 3 years from release. But yeah, a solid Green Lantern game that's not based on the Ryan Reynolds movie. Any of that stuff can work. It really can. You know, ever since Arkham Asylum in 2009, I was like, now any superhero game can work, even a Superman game, but it has to be done right. You can't have someone being like, you know, like WB or EA coming in like, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah, like Tom said, did you Flash? Did you get him? There's that gap when the Deadshot is like barely turning around. I'm like, it's not quick. It's not quick. And almost every, I'm gonna tell you right now, Captain Boomerang is insufferable. Out of all the Suicide Squad members, I was like, all right, he's got to die. He's insufferable. But just like I said in the comment that I pinned on that video, spoilers, none of the Suicide Squad members die. Of course, you could tie that up to the whole live service thing of wanting them to keep you playing the game after the story. But then don't call it Suicide Squad. What was the point? WB is kind of avoiding Superman by any means. I mean, I do prefer other characters over Supes, but avoiding it like crazy won't help. They're avoiding Superman. Well, I mean, from a game standpoint, yeah. From a movie standpoint, I mean, we do have Superman Legacy, and it's good to see that James Gunn is overseeing that. I honestly would rather... I know that so many people are kind of done with James Gunn and done with the DCU, but the more I hear about the casting of James Gunn's Superman Legacy, I'm like, I'm intrigued. You know, I'm not hyped, but I'm like, I'll keep it on my radar for now. Yeah, MK1 is dying mainly because of them keeping characters who people are mainly interested in, I think. Like, I'm sorry, but most people who want Peacemaker or Homelander over Quan Chi. But at the same time, they also don't want to blow the load early. I would say that next... oh, no, I think they have confirmed that the next one is Peacemaker because the end of that trailer showed Quan Chi going up against Peacemaker. So Peacemaker's got to be the next one. And then after him, I think it's going to be Takeda. And then Homelander? But wasn't there another one? A sixth one? Unless I'm miscounting. Or were there only 5? Yeah. So yeah, guys, I think we were too harsh on Gotham Knights. It's like that Thanos meme. Perhaps I treated you too harshly. Like, even I'm looking at my video essay that I did on Gotham Knights, and I'm like, damn, like, little did I know that the game that really wanted you to keep playing was Suicide Squad, not Gotham Knights. Like, am I going to have to make a second video essay on Gotham Knights? Where it's just like, it's like, the title of the video essay is, Ermac. There you go. Ermac. That's the other one. Thank you, Temple. Am I going to have to make like a part 2 to video essay to my Gotham Knights video essay where the title is Gotham Knights. Perhaps I treated you too harshly. Honestly, that's a good idea. I should probably write that down. And the thumbnail is just Thanos looking up, and on the other side is Nightwing or Robin from that game. Or Batgirl, kind of, crouching. Because it's like when I had to do some stealth missions with Batgirl, even I was like. And then when I had to do some stealth missions with Red Hood, I was like. Dead. Both of them. I'm so tired of evil Superman. Just Stop and Justice did it. And DC and WB decided it was a new amazing thing. Leave that to Homelander and Omni-Man. That's one of the refreshing things I'm looking forward to in Legacy is that Superman Legacy is that we're back to the old, classic Superman, hopefully, where he is this beacon of hope. They tried to we started to get the footing on that for Man of Steel, but it was a little too Zack Snyder depressy kind of way. Even though I do enjoy Man of Steel, I really do. I like that movie. Way leagues above Batman vs Superman, if I gotta be honest. It's funny because Batman vs Superman has a lot of cool aspects about it, um, but they never gel. They never like hold together. Especially towards the end, where at the last minute Doomsday just comes in and just says, "Well, we got to give you a cliffhanger." Even though we are tired of the whole mass murderer dictator temple, like you were saying, there's still a part of my brain that wishes we would have gotten a live action Superman Red Sun, where he's not a good guy. He's not evil. He is extremely conflicted, where he's like, is this the right country I should have been on? And we ask, as an audience, ask the question, like, what if you were born in a different time in a different country when all this shit was going down? That would have been an interesting arc for a live action movie, in my opinion. I would be excited for that Nemesis system, Tom, but I'm still salty that WB, again, it just speaks to the corporatism of all this shit, that WB patented the shit out of that system. Because since then, there's been so many games where I'm like, oh, if this game had the Nemesis system, if this had it, if this had it. And I'm like, no, WB literally patented it to where no other company can do it. Even if another company, for those of you who don't know, WB owns the rights to that system. If another company tries to do their version of the Nemesis system, WB can sue. Be like, hey, look at this. You see what this is? This is the patent. So give us money or shut it down. Like I want to look forward to it in Wonder Woman, but at the end of the day, sadly, it's just gonna remind me of how stingy WB was with that shit. I Temple, I honestly don't know when we're gonna see the resurgence of the Wonder Woman game. I want to say at least one more time this year, closer to like the spring or summertime. I don't know why, but there's a part of my brain that almost wants to say Summer Games Fest. It seems like a Summer Games Fest type of thing to show, especially since E3 is legitimately no more. Like, goddamn, it's done. It's no more. That's crazy. Yeah, a Gotham Knights revisit. Meanwhile, hating on at least J.K. Dez would be happy after all. I wonder if in the next, at least the next week, I want to say the next week or so, let's see, because it's difficult to track on console, but I really want people to go into Steam and see how, I'm going to lean back a little bit here because my back is getting a little restless here. Um, I want to see if Steam numbers go up for Gotham Knights. I want to see if people start talking about that game again. And then, like I said, maybe after I'm done with my Spider-Man 2 essay, um, which if you guys haven't seen, I posted this morning a community post with a screen grab of my timeline right now for the Spider-Man 2 essay, which is 49 minutes long, which is kind of lengthy, but a lot of video essays these days for games and people that like to make these kinds of things generally ranges between 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes even an hour and a half, sometimes even 2 hours. 49 minutes, I'm like, all right, it's my longest video essay, but it's got 302, I believe, 302 markers. I need to fill each of those markers up with either gameplay footage, live action footage, or some kind of asset. Because those markers are there to tell me this is where this moment from Spider-Man 2 needs to be put into. This is where I need to put in a clip of me swinging. This is where I need to put a clip of me doing stealth. That's what those markers are. I need to fill in 302 markers for the Spider-Man 2 essay. Some of them are very easy because they're very specific. It's like, oh, when Peter gets the black suit. Okay, take the cutscene of him getting the black suit, put it in there, done. But then there's others where I'm like, I need a clip. Oh, the worst is when I talk about glitches and I need to go and grab a clip of a glitch. And I'm like, unless I label it specifically, I need to start combing through all the footage that I captured and be like, when did the glitch happen? And I'm like, fuck. So I want to tell myself that by the end of the month, I'm hoping to get this essay done. In the meantime, obviously, I got a lot of other figure reviews lined up, some of which are already in the can. Just yesterday, if you guys haven't already checked it out, my comparison video between the Figuarts 2099 Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends 2099 Spider-Man from Across the Spider-Verse, that went up yesterday. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. Next week, well, not next week, but either Friday or Saturday, do I have it over here? Actually, I do. Hold on. I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview here. Dun, 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 dun. See if you guys can see it right here. I wouldn't call Red Sun Soups a bad guy, but yeah, I heard leaks of Matthew Vaughn wanting to do it with Cavill. I'd be for it, but obviously that ship has sailed. In fact, that ship has sailed so much that I think that turned into Argyle, the movie that just came out, because that's Matthew Vaughn with Henry Cavill. I feel like that was the result of Red Sun falling through, if I had to guess. But in my hand is Keaton Batman from Batman Returns. This, if you notice though, the scale is a little weird and the sizing is a little weird. And the reason for why that is because this is the figure from a company called Beast Kingdom. Some of you may have heard of it. I'm getting into the Beast Kingdom game. I actually have two figures. This is one of them. The other one I just filmed a review/comparison for today. So those are the next two figure reviews, full-length video reviews, and then in the shorts department, get this. For shorts, I got finally. After Amazon delayed my shit over and over and over again, I finally got what I like to consider the thickest figure of 2024 so far. The Who is Wonder Woman, what was it? Who is Wonder Woman Collector's Edition, Wonder Woman. Sounds like I'm peaking a little bit. I'm going to lower it by 1 decibel there. There you go. Yeah, Collector's Edition, Wonder Woman. But since the channel is dedicated to mostly Batman and Spider-Man, but this is still an awesome McFarlane so far. Spoilers, I'm really loving this. There's a couple of little quirks here and there, but she needs a short review at least. Shorts review for her, for sure. So she's getting a shorts review. And then he is getting a shorts review. This is obviously Red Hood, but this is the collector's edition, or is it collector's edition? I don't know. This is the black and red accent edition that was because it's completely sold out, exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store. So this is a BBTS exclusive, as you can see from the decorative base. He also came with a certificate of authenticity and a little display to hold that certificate up. If only he came with guns, right? But yeah, this is supposed to be the black and red accented version, specialized, hand painted. I can actually do feel the quality behind it, but more on that in the short. But yeah, he's gonna get a short. I was thinking about doing a full length review, but the whole reason for why this exists is because he is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. And on top of that, it's technically a repaint of the new 52 Red Hood that is already out there and people have already seen. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep him to just a short. He's just going to be a short. And the audio for these shorts has already been recorded. I just got to edit it. So look for those two shorts possibly this week. One of them for sure is going to be this week. I don't know about both. We'll see. And then, like I said, I got 2 more figure reviews. So I pretty much got the next 2-ish or so weeks lined up for figure reviews. In between some of those days of editing, though, I'm going to try to work as diligently as I can on this video essay for Spider-Man 2. And then once that Spider-Man 2 essay is done, I'm likely going to take a break. Not just from video essays, but probably videos in general, because I don't think I've taken a break since like summer of last year. It's been either 2 videos a week or 1 video a week. But here's why I haven't taken the break yet is because, and I was keeping this on the hush hush for a little while, but I'll just mention it here in quick cadence on stream. It's not going to be like a dedicated video or anything like that, but I unfortunately did lose my job when at the end of last month, right before Christmas. However, phrasing it as losing my job is technically not true because it was a contract job. And as we got closer to December 22nd, they were dropping the hints to me that they were like, hey, budgeting is not great going into the fiscal year for 2024. It looks like when your contract is up, we're not renewing it. It's going to be done. So it was a contract job. And obviously by title, by definition, contract jobs mean just that. Contract is going to expire. It depends on budget, strictly, logistical stuff if it's going to get renewed. And literally like 2 or 3 weeks prior to the deadline, they were like, yeah, it's looking like the budget's not looking great. And when, finish the month, and obviously we'll pay you the full amount for the month, which the pay was really good. The pay was good enough that I'm going to be fine for at least like another month or so. But they were like, yeah, we were not going to be able to renew the contract. So let us know if you need like a letter of recommendation or anything like that. If I'm schlumping, I should probably just lower the cam. Oh yeah, that's better. That way you can see my mess from down here. But yeah, that happened. So it's been almost a full month and a half or so of being out of work. But I've been trying to supplement that time with going ham on content creation. It would be amazing if this could be my full-time gig, content creation, but obviously it's not in the cards because the ad rev is not great. So I'm still looking for a job right now, but of course, with all this extra time, I am trying to go crazy on putting my last few videos or so together and putting them up. But I've told myself, you know what, for my own mental sake, that video essay, once I wrap up the video essay at the end of this month, I will probably take like a week-long break from not just posting, but just filming. Like, I'm like, you know what? No filming, no content creation, no writing, no filming, no publishing. Take care of this. And then after 1 week, come back, start posting and start filming. And when that happens, I might just dig up Gotham Knights and try replaying that to be like, what worked about this game that doesn't work with Suicide Squad? And maybe do a part 2 to that essay, because I'm just having this conversation with some of you guys here in the chat with Suicide Squad and how it compared to Gotham Knights. I'm like, I'm probably going to have to do that. That's actually a really good idea. But yeah, thank you guys for the well wishes in the chat about the whole job thing. But it is what it is. I'm planning on ordering a statue of Hal Jordan for like $1,000 from Sideshow next year. 1,000. Because I know statues go for crazy amount, but why statues? Temple, if I can ask you, why a statue versus a actual like 1/6 scale figure? I'm just legitimately curious because it's always an interesting dialogue when you have people, the statue people versus the 1/6 scale people, because the prices are now starting to meet in the middle. Like, I always thought statues were kind of expensive, but now like stuff from Hot Toys and then Inort and even J&D, that stuff is creeping up to where I'm like, I might as well get a fucking statue. Will you get the amazing Yamaguchi Arkham Knight bat? Oh, is it the same one that I'm thinking? Because I did see it, and I've been contemplating it, but I haven't pulled the trigger because I know he's up on Big Bad. Ugh, voice cracking already. Big Bad Toy Store. Let me type it in. Yeah, amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech. 109 comes out in October. The only downside of pre-ordering him on Big Bad Toy Store is that they're asking for an $11 non-refundable deposit. I know it's only $11, but at the same time, I'm like, I got to be certain. And I am tempted. It does look legit. And it would be a nice comparison video between this and the McFarlane, because I do have the McFarlane Arkham Knight Batman. Maybe I'm leaning towards it. But obviously, you guys just heard the news. I lost my job, so I have to be very, conservative and be like, where do I put the money? Because when it comes to like pre-orders, obviously I'm gonna pre-order some stuff that, like for example, McFarlane. Most recently, yes, I pre-ordered the Catwoman Batpod set from their store, from the McFarlane Toy Store, and I pre-ordered the Skyhook Batman. Because the McFarlane Toy Store is bundling them to save some money. And then on top of that, I added a code, and it's saving an awful lot of money to the point where I'm like, yeah, I should probably keep this. So I'm keeping that, and that's definitely going to be covered on the channel. But then you have like the animated stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to pre-order that on Amazon. I have that pre-order on Amazon because Amazon doesn't charge right away. They only charge when it's about to ship. And it's Amazon. It's Amazon, which means if I don't like the figures, there is a return policy that's there just in case I need it. Just in case I need it, and if money is really that tight. I'm sorry, but I have to put that out there. So if I pre-order something on McFarlane, it means that it's something that I for sure am going to want to cover on the channel and keep. They always do Flash dirty in video games, and in Injustice 2, he literally gets hit by a bullet. I'm gonna have to replay that because I remember that, which is sad because if that ended up being, I played Injustice 2, but I don't remember that. When does that happen? But that's sad considering that I actually main Flash in Injustice 2. He's one of my mains. Yeah, Temple, thank you for, like I said, the wishes on the whole job thing, and it's crazy because we're now sorry, I'm bumping the mic a lot. We're now in like an inverted universe / timeline because we're now at the point. Oh, and Bland Boy, welcome to the stream. We're now at the point where now it's possible to be overqualified for a job, even if the job is like the most mundane of mundanes. True story. I'm not making this up. Before this last contract job, after my last contract job, so like right in the middle of last year, I had 2 freelancing jobs that each lasted about half a year or so. But in between, I was in between jobs, so I had like a month or so interval of me not working. At one point, I even contemplating applying for unemployment. But true story, I said fuck it at one point before I was thinking about applying for unemployment. And I applied for a dishwasher job at my local Applebee's. Because dishwashing job, I think it would have paid like $20 an hour. And I'm like, dishwashing, I don't have to talk to customers. I don't have to deal with their bullshit. You know, I don't have to be at the front of the house. I just stay in one spot, wash dishes. And personally, washing dishes is kind of therapeutic for me. Like it's one of those things where if I get into a groove of like doing this, that, my mind goes into like ideation. I start thinking of ideas. If I'm filming a video, I'm like, okay, what B-roll needs to be shot? What graphics need to be made? I start to think about that stuff as I'm getting into the motor skills, into the routine of washing dishes. I'm like that. So I was like, okay, perfect. I got rejected. I got rejected for a dishwasher job at my local Applebee's. And I was just so puzzled. But I was like, dude, I look at the job. I've done retail. I've done restaurant before. I have experience. I've gone to college. I have an associate's degree, and I'm currently working on my batch. And then halfway through that sentence, thinking to myself, I was like, if I was to put on my tinfoil hat and actually kind of give myself some credit, which I very rarely do. I'm pretty self-deprecating usually, but if I were to at least give myself a little bit of credit, I feel like after COVID, people started to wake up, the proper usage of the word woke, and people in the retail business and in the customer service business were like, fuck this, I'm done, I need something better. Because how many people thought that when COVID happened? Where COVID was bringing the worst of people, having people treat retail employees and fast food employees and customer service employees like shit. And that finally pushed people to be like, I'm done with this. I'm out. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to do all this. And so corporates and managers, the district managers, the big ones, the higher ups, not the regular managers per store, but like the higher, like superintendent managers or whatever the fuck, they're the ones that are like, oh, these people have like degrees. Okay, well, I guess we could get somewhere down the pipeline as the years went by since COVID. I think they started to go, okay, stop getting people that have educations, stop getting people that have experience. I'm going to, between those people that are now, eyes open versus a kid that just came out of high school and just needs money for that new car, who are they going to hire? Unfortunately, now they're going to go for that kid that just wants the car and will just shut up and do the job instead of the one who's got the bright ideas for this cool new way to bring up sales, bring up work flow and all that stuff. Because now they're going to be like, yeah, but eventually that person's going to start asking for a raise or they're going to start asking for benefits and we can't afford that. So hire the yes man, hire the kid that just came out of high school. So all that studying that we just did for our associates, for our bachelors, for whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter. At least for these specific jobs, not entirely, but just for just getting a very as generic as a job as, like I just said, dishwashing. And I got rejected for that. So I'm over here thinking like, wow. Now, granted, it could also be the area that I live in. Maybe if I go somewhere that's closer to the metropolitan area, metropolitan area like LA, the Inland Empire, etc. Maybe it'll look a little better. But yeah, that was just bewildering to me to the point where I'm just like, what do I have? What do I have? So yeah, that's something that I am kind of going through right now. But at the same time, like I said, it would be nice if maybe this could be like my full-time gig, but we'll see. Like I said, right now it's not sustainable, but it's also not outside of the possibility that it could become sustainable later down the line. Bland Boy, what did you say earlier? Oh, and Tom, yeah, InArt is moving into 112, but I need to know that price. If that price is too crazy, nah. The In Our Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one that just got revealed and the pre-orders just went live. It's not a bad price, but it's still too much. But it makes sense. It's rational. It's just too much for me to pre-order right now. Because right now, if you try to pre-order, I think it's like a $200 down deposit. I'm like, I can't spare the 200 right now. If I still had the contract job, I probably would have done it. Because it's $1,400, but you are getting 4 figures. I'm like, if you divide it up, I'm like, it makes sense. It's rational. But to put down the 200 down, I'm like, I can't do that right now. You ever thought about making your own DC gaming universe pitch? I mean, I think once or twice back in the day, but realistically, like to hit them up, I'm like, nah. And like I said, COVID has brought so many things to light, including the culture of working in the video game space and, you know, how the concept of crunch and a toxic work environment is now pretty much common knowledge thanks to the internet. That I'm like, nah, that kind of scared me too. Hell, right now, growing ever since I was like 14 or 15 years old, my dream was to be a director, right? Writer, director of film. And in the last 2 years of the stuff coming out of Disney for Marvel, for Star Wars, and then the stuff coming out of DC and Warner Brothers for the DCU and how that was in a shambles, in just a span of like 2-3 years, is on the verge of scaring me away from that profession. Is on the verge of making me go, never mind. I at least for the time being, I don't want to be I don't even want to be in that industry. And ever so often I find myself in the shower or driving or in bed getting kind of depressed to the point of tears thinking about that, because it's like, wow, 10, 15 years ago I was over here like just smiling ear to ear at the concept of being on a set, and now I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want that. So it is what it is. Out of topic, but you just talked about job stuff, and imagine how aliens laugh at us for. That's why they're not down here yet. They thought about it apparently at the beginning of this year when the year started. Apparently they accidentally came out saying, "Hey, new year, maybe things are looking up," and then people started acting a fool, and they were like, "Nah, never mind, let's go back into hiding." Obviously, I'm making fun of that whole like 10-foot, whatever that meme was. That was happening in like the first week of January. That was fucking stupid. Man. Temple, you said like a pitch like for like videos about what a pitch for a DC game would be, like not an actual pitch to WB, but like put it in video form. If no, but that's actually a pretty good idea. Put it down in the ideation Google Sheets list. But what did Bland Boy say? I'm starting to think there's a misconception with DC making the best games when in reality they make the best Batman games compared to the other characters like Superman who shine only in Injustice. But at the same time, I feel like they haven't tried since what? Superman Returns? Wasn't Superman Returns like the last Superman game? And that was technically just a movie tie-in to promote the movie? I love Mayfix, but they need to move on to other characters like Green Lantern and Flash instead of just Bats and Soup's storyline figures. But at the same time, those are the ones that are selling, so unless they, I don't know. It's a paradox with some things where it's like you want certain companies to either make that movie or make that figure or make that game, but if that's not what's selling, it's like, what does one do, Kratos? Same as when companies hire people who know nothing about what they're doing to write stuff for DC or Star Wars over someone heavily passionate about it. Me and the girlfriend just recently finished Echo. I was pissed. I was like, God damn, we could have been watching Loki, because we still haven't watched Loki season 2. which is a shame because I already know what happens at the end, but I need to fix that. Yeah, that's what I meant. Is that Temple? Yeah, like that would. Yeah, I'll definitely put that on the Google sheet. So I'm like, oh, but I also want there to be a good balance between the stuff that, going back to what I just said about companies making stuff that sells versus whenever they need to take a chance on something. I need to treat my YouTube channel kind of equally as well, where I recognize that the comparison stuff does well for views as far and exposure for the channel, like the Figure Arts versus Marvel Legends, Figure Arts or Mafex versus McFarlane, and now with Beast Kingdom. But in between, I'll sprinkle a couple of, like I said, a video essay for Spider-Man 2, a follow-up possibly to Gotham Knights, and now Temple, thank you for the idea, maybe a pitch of what a good DC gaming pitch would be. We'll see. What's interesting is fan-made stuff is taking over official corporate stuff. Fan-made games like Batman 89 or KOTOR Remake. Perion fan-made one. Gain more attention. Wait, what's the Batman 89 thing? And I hear the KOTOR Remake might get canceled because all those videos got deleted from their YouTube channel, and like a lot of things are not looking all too great about that game from what I hear. And it's a remake. It's like the original game is there. Like a series of videos of a gaming DC Universe pitch. Obvious WB would cancel a passionate good thing over a dog shit there. Yeah, I'll think about it. But it is a good concept. Thank you for the idea, Temple. So, Batman 89, type it. There's a demo for it. Hold on, let me go on YouTube. Look at some gameplay for this. Ugh. Starting to get a little dizzy. And dinner time is about to come up. Fan game. Oh, I think I have seen this. Well, no, not well. I've seen screen grabs of it, but not in its entirety. Also, okay, how many viewers does this person have, or subscribers? I mean, because somebody already posted the colloquial. This game is so and so apart, and it's a comparison between the Harley Quinn Arkham Knight, the Harley Quinn Arkham Knight DLC, and then of course Suicide Squad. And the video is only 4 days old and already has 883,000 views. Holy shit. Nick Tech. Are they the same ones that posted the other video? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's them. It's the same one who posted the video comparing Arkham Knight to Gotham Knights, where these two games are 7 years apart. And it's a 3-minute video that has since gotten 13 million views. Holy shit. It's crazy. The gums are drying. Yeah, it's that same user. They already made the video. But so basically they made an 89 game, but with like aesthetics from Arkham Knight. Can you guys hear it? Oh, I think you guys can hear it. Let me see if I can do studio mode. Yeah, because you guys might be hearing it right now. with the stock 89 Keaton Batman music, that doesn't sound like it at all. Hold on. Gotta switch. Here we go. Maybe the lighting is a little too harsh. Textures are good, but the lighting is just a little harsh. Because I understand that we're going for that Burton look, but if you go back and watch 89 Burton Batman, the budget shows in the lighting. It's like all the budget went towards the art design, but then the lighting is sometimes a little too harsh where I can physically, even though it's not on screen, I can feel the lights off to the side, you know what I'm saying? So I understand that that's probably what they're trying to emulate here with it reflecting off the cowl there, but I'm personally not the biggest fan of it. I like the running animation because I believe Keaton was running like that. But yeah, I could use some work. Ooh, especially on the floor there. That could use some work. But overall, not bad for fan-made stuff. You know, it's a fan-made thing. Yeah, the animation on the car. Motion blurring is not bad. Yeah, cutscene's not bad. Yeah, for one person, I'm like, I'm not gonna knock it that bad. Nah, the whole thing's 20 minutes. All right. Yeah, thank you for that, Temple. Not bad. But yeah, I remember it trending or seeing a screen grab. Finally saw some gameplay of that. What would you say is the best non-comic, basically video games, movies, TV shows, universe? Personally, I would say the DC. Well, you just said best non-comic. You mean based on a comic, or it's just not in the comics? Because DC animated universe or DCAU, it's like, but it's based on the comics. It's comic book property. Oh, now, okay, you know who has the potential of developing a really great universe that's not based on comics, that's not based on superheroes, but I am over here going like, yo, I want to know more about this universe. If you guys can flesh it out right, this could be a banger. The Remedyverse, or Remedy Universe, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the universe from Remedy Games / Alan Wake. Because recently, obviously, I played the Alan Wake 2, but in that game, there's connections to Control, and Control had connections to Alan Wake, and then a couple of mentions of Quantum Break. And then Quantum Break had a couple of Easter eggs to Alan Wake, but Quantum Break is like the bastard child that they're trying not to connect to too much. But if they can kind of loop it all around, and that is a bit of a pun there, it could work. That could be actually one of the universes I look at and go, yes, a universe that I'm invested, but doesn't need a full comic book type detail. All right, Nadezilla, thank you for joining. See you on the flip side. Ooh, Temple, that's actually a pretty good idea. A Dr. Fate game from Remedy because of the stuff like shooting and doing that stuff. I'm like, oh. Or, even though it's kind of the same character, the kind of ripoffs. I can't remember who came first. I think Dr. Fate actually came first, so Marvel might be the one ripping off. But a Doctor Strange game from Remedy. But at the same time, we don't want all these developers just to do superhero stuff. I mean, look at what's happening with Insomniac, which is going to be mentioned in the essay about the leak or the hack, the Insomniac hack, and how this does kind of create this like skepticism as far as like whether or not Insomniac is purely going to just be a Marvel company, kind of like how Rocksteady turned into just a DC company. Like, part of me that kind of doesn't want that. Yeah, but Temple, I would argue that Control did well enough to get a sequel. Wasn't it nominated for Game of the Year? But yeah, I would say Remedy is probably in a really great place to where I don't think they would want to compromise that. I don't think they would. Excuse me. I don't think they would want to damage the momentum they got going on right now by being solely. I don't want to say independent because they do have epic games behind them, but what they have going on right now, they don't want to tamper that with superhero big major superhero IPs. I really don't think so. After Redfall, Arcane is like, yeah, we kind of need Blade right now. We need Blade right now to get back into people's good graces. And if they can deliver on, and look, somebody already kind of did that whole redemption arc. Square Enix, even though it wasn't Square Enix that, well, it was Eidos and not Crystal Dynamics, because Crystal Dynamics was the one that did Avengers. But Eidos Montreal, under Square Enix, did Guardians of the Galaxy. And that was good. Why? Because it wasn't trying to be fucking live service. It was just trying to be a good, fun, single-player game. Anyways. Temple, it's interesting that you ask that because in the essay, I actually mention that the drone missions in Spider-Man 2 make me think what it would be like for Insomniac to do a Superman game. There's already a Superman game in Spider-Man 2. It's the drone missions. 100-star games, let them do original IP. Let them do an original IP before I start to say that they can do something. Which I'm not saying that as a harp, but I'm just saying that as like a was my No, it wasn't. Okay, good. It's just the analytics. Because I was about to say, like, was my stream key on? Did I dox myself with the stream key? But no, it was just analytics. The stream health, like the duration, the views, chat. Yeah, you didn't really see anything else. All right. Not that it. I don't know. So, real quick, let me give my top 5. And let me jet on out of here because, like I said, I'm getting hungry. So if I was to boil it down to a top 5 from last year, and this is why I wanted to do it on a live stream because it's already kind of late. Nobody really cares about top 5 games of 2023 into February. But if I remember correctly, I think I made a list of it on my Google Keeps. There it is. All right. So if I was to list off my top 5 games of last year, at number 5, I would have Mortal Kombat 1, actually. And here's the thing. Actually, tied for number 5 are 2 fighters. Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter 6. The only reason for why I tie them up is because both of them have one particular mode that kept them from edging out the other. With Mortal Kombat 1, it was Invasions, because I really didn't like Invasions, but I really loved the story mode. With Street Fighter 6, I love the arcade. I love the usage of the characters. I love how, dynamic the fighting is. But I ended up hating the World Tour mode because it got so grindy towards the end that I ended up looking up the ending on YouTube. It was so puffed out at the end that I was like, I'm over this. It was just so repetitive. I was like, I'd rather just keep playing the arcade, getting the single endings for characters, and doing online matches. I don't want to do more of this stuff. So each one had that major crux that made me go, you know what? They fit with each other. They're both tied for number 5. Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1. At number 4, I had appropriately slotted at number 4, Resident Evil 4 Remake. The Resident Evil 4 Remake was my number 4 because it had the unfortunate circumstance of being released really early, but it was still the game that made me go, hey, if you can take... I remember finishing Resident Evil 4, the original, and thinking to myself, I dig the aesthetic, I dig the world, I even dig a little bit of the story, But these controls, I couldn't do the controls. Even though I did technically beat the game, by the end of it, I was cursing the game to the point where I'm like, if you can take the gameplay of Resident Evil 2 Remake and give it the Resident Evil 4 coat of paint. Oh, and so when they announced Resident Evil 4 Remake, I'm like, I am there. And I still ended up really, really digging it. So at number 4, Resident Evil 4. At number 3. At number 3. Spider-Man 2. Good thing not too many people are watching. At number 3 is Spider-Man 2. Even though it's still a pretty good slot to be in, I would put Spider-Man 2 at number 3. Yeah. Really enjoyed the game. Some aspects of it I love. Trust me, when I finally put out that essay, you'll know exactly which moments. Because I did record some reactions. Just specific moments in the game that just made me go. But it's an ad for the essay. Yeah, kind of. It kind of is. But yeah, at number 3 in my top 5, still managed to not only be in my top 5, but edge out 2 games. But I would put Spider-Man 2 at number 3. Because there are still some things that have me a little concerned for the future of not just Insomniac Games, but also what they have next in the pipeline for the Spider-Man franchise. And it boils down to one major thing. Because overall, I did love the story for Spider-Man 2. I love the quality of life improvements on Spider-Man 2, specifically around swapping, losing my voice, swapping between the two Spider-Men, Miles and Peter. Very intuitive once I figure it out. The upgrade tree and then the gameplay. The gameplay in Spider-Man 2, in terms of like the moment-to-moment fundamental core gameplay of fighting, stealth, swinging, my web abilities, the new ones once you get the symbiote suit, the new ones once you upgrade the Venom stuff. But sometimes the game is trying to be a bit too much of a jack of all trades and ends up being the master of none. There's moments, especially in the second act, where I'm like, there's a lot happening here as far as mini games, side quests that have like a brand new mechanic being introduced, new stuff being added to the map, to platinum it, which I did end up doing. I did still end up platinum the game, but it just didn't feel as fulfilling and as synchronized as Spider-Man 1 did. I don't know. I felt like they were trying to squeeze in a lot of ideas in there. Like in terms of, like I said, mini games and little things like that. For 2024, plot twist, we'll see. Rebirth comes out at the end of the month. I personally consider Final Fantasy VII Rebirth a March game, not a February game, because it comes out literally the last day of February, and it's a leap day, which wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for the 4-year interval. And plus, I'm probably going to be busy that day, so I'm probably not going to be able to even play it until that Friday, March 1st. So, but yeah. So yeah, right now I put Spider-Man 2 at number 3. At number 2, beating out Spider-Man 2, another 2, Alan Wake 2, actually. I was just so sucked into the world, and they managed to hit a really beautiful balance of tone and aesthetic. The musical sequence, I kept playing that song on my Pandora. Performances are top notch. Started to get a little puffy towards the end, and a little too the word I like to, some people like to use, labyrinthian towards the end, and it ends in a way that I heard some other people say. Asgard soundtrack, old gods of Asgard temple, but and the Martian Manhunter. Yeah, when he popped up, I was like, well, two things happened. One, well, it's been in development for a while, so they probably were, because there was a part of me that's like, why do I feel like that was supposed to be a role for Lance Reddick, but unfortunately he passed away. But then again, this game has been in development for a while, and he passed away early in 2023. So I was like, nah, I think they really did want to go with that actor, who was a great actor, great character actor. I can't remember his name, but yeah, the Martian Manhunter actor. But for a little while, I was like, was that supposed to be Lance Reddick's character from Quantum Break? But I don't know. Well, maybe. Um, but yeah, Alan Wake 2 is my number 2 because I couldn't stop thinking about that game and coming up with my own theories. But what some people have said is that it ends in a way that still feels like it's at the beginning, which I get is the point. They even literally say that phrase, back to the beginning. And it does do a smart job of justifying New Game Plus, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that I'm like, all right, if there's going to be an Alan Wake 3, how do we stop from doing the same thing again? Because now it ended in a way that it just, we're back to where we started. And I know that that's kind of the theme, but I don't know if that's fulfilling enough for me. But everything else, as far as the art direction, as far as the shooting mechanics, as far as the aesthetic, the score, the tone, the soundtrack, like I said, those live action, because sometimes FMV live action stuff in games takes me out of it. I generally don't like FMV live action stuff. At least with some of the old games, classic games like Night Trap and then the original Resident Evil makes sense because, the technology. But when you put it in like modern games, I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I was on board the entire time with Alan Wake 2. It never bothered me. I was like, wow, that's just a testament that you were able to nail it with Alan Wake 2. So yeah, that's my number 2, which means we got our number 1 game. But before I do that, honorable mentions, I only got 2. Jedi Survivor, because there was some great lightsaber, it's Star Wars Jedi, but a progression of the story, a progression of where we want to go as far as gameplay. A couple of things here and there felt a little too copy and paste from the original game. There's still a little bit of weirdness with his traversal, with his running. But the story does go in some bold directions, but albeit in some predictable directions. There was a twist that I was like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. I kind of saw that. But some good set pieces, and then some other moments where I'm like, did you really have to put that in there? I get it. It's your boy. It's Star Wars. If something Star Wars gets made, you know who has to be in it. And I'm like, can we stop putting this guy? I love this guy. And even I'm like, why does he have to be here? You know who I'm talking about. But outside of that, an honorable mention, Jedi Survivor. But it doesn't crack the top 5 because there's still a little bit of jank. Some technical hiccups. And like I said, there were some story choices that they weren't bad, but I was just kind of like, that could have been better. And then the other honorable mention, Mario Wonder, a late game, a very late one, because I almost didn't play that. But Staples offered it for $40. They had a sale on it, a random sale. I almost think that it was a error sale, but I got it for $40, played it, and I was like, this game is definitely creative. It's definitely fun. It's definitely innovative. All the gimmicks that I traditionally would toss up to being gimmicks it felt sincere. It felt like a, unhinged Mario the way that you would want it to. But what keeps it at honorable mention level and not even Game of the Year level from me, even though a lot of people made it that Game of the Year, is actually for the same reason for some people made a Game of the Year, is because there's still that Nintendo bias that I fucking hate. And I'm getting tired of how bare bones they're getting with their stories. I understand that this is a side-scrolling Mario, but plot is pretty much non-existent. And I'm not saying it has to be like the deepest, but I just want there to be some creativity behind the story and behind the aesthetics of like some of the UI. Because is it just me, or have every Mario game since Odyssey had the same UI? Where like, if you look carefully, like some of the font, some of the stenciling in the backgrounds is like, is it just me, or am I seeing like the same pop art kind of aesthetic in every Mario game since Odyssey? Like, they've used the same layout. Even Mario Maker has the same fucking layout. The way that some assets kind of move in the menus. I'm like, it just makes me feel like Nintendo's like, well, this is working, just throw it in there again. It's like, no, come on. Get off your ass and work. Nintendo, just because you know that people are going to buy your games no matter what. And, like I said, this whole stuff with Pal World happening, I'm like, yeah, of course Nintendo's going to take action. They're going to sue the shit out of the developers. I can't remember their names. But yeah, that's why I keep Mario Wonder at honorable mention level. Quantum Break is basically a Flash game already. Main villain being Thawne. Speaking of Star Wars, you spoke about KOTOR before, and the remake is meant for modern audiences if it gets made. Modern gaming, like Actman likes to say. But yeah, those are my 2 honorable mentions. So my favorite number 1 game of 2023 that managed to edge out Alan Wake 2 and I thought I was hearing something. Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2. Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is my game of the year 2023. Only those that are here in the stream right now or are watching the VOD and got to this point will know that my game of the year from 2023 was not Spider-Man 2. It was Spider-Man 2 did make my top 5, but it didn't manage to edge out Alan Wake 2, and it didn't manage to edge out my game of the year, Hi-Fi Rush. That game, I think, took me like 12 or 13 hours to beat. And to me, it just went by in a flash, pun intended. Like we were talking about the discussion around Flash. It just went by so quick that I even contemplated doing New Game Plus. But I'm like, I got other stuff to play. The 2023 was so stacked with games. Now, some of the obvious ones that didn't get mentioned, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3. I just mentioned game length. Those games were too thick. And it sucks because I have Tears of the Kingdom. I have it down there. I bought it for $35 because QVC had a discount code for new accounts, so I took advantage. And then Baldur's Gate 3, I bought late last year, and I tried to boot it up on my PC, but something is happening with this PC that I'm using to stream right now that I couldn't get past the character creator. It kept crashing. I don't know if it's the resolution because it defaults to 4K because I was having it connect to my TV over here. Maybe I need to lower the resolution. Maybe I need to lower some of the quality settings like the ray tracing, dynamic resolution, ambient occlusion, the shaders, textures, shadows, whatever, to get it to get past that point. But those two, I didn't get to play those. They were, like I said, I was busy with my contract job. I have other obligations. I have a girlfriend. We have to hang out. I have friends. We have to hang out. And then I'm trying to run this channel. I was like, for a beefy game that needs like 50 hours just to beat the main story, like Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, that's 100 hours combined. I'm like, no. Whereas Hi-Fi Rush, I had a smile on my face for the 12 hours. It went by in a flash. The rhythm, every track, my foot was tapping as I was playing. And to be able to match the music to gameplay that reminded me an awful lot of classic Devil May Cry, very arcadey, very like, hey, this is just about having fun and making sure that you love these characters, you love this art style. I adore the art style. I was like, if they ever made like a Netflix show the way that they did to like Cuphead on Hi-Fi Rush, I'm watching it. Day one, I'm watching it. And if they, God forbid, make a sequel to Hi-Fi Rush, I hope so. All I know is that the recent rumblings is that Hi-Fi Rush might be heading to PS5 and Switch, but instead of getting mad because it defies exclusivity to Xbox, which is kind of actually been the discussion today on Twitter for a lot of people. In my opinion, I actually love that because that means that people on PlayStation 5, people on Switch are going to be able to play that. And they're going to be able to know why it is that Hi-Fi Rush is my game of the year 2023. No, yeah, I loved Hi-Fi Rush. I'll see what the performances are going to be on Switch, and maybe I'll pick it up for Switch, even though I could technically just pick it up on Steam and play it on the Steam Deck. But yeah, that will give me an excuse to pick it up on those platforms. Or Oh my god. Or if it coming out on those platforms will then give a company like Limited Run Games make a physical edition. I'll pick up that physical edition. Mark my goddamn words. Comes with like a poster, comes with like patches that are like the ones that he has on his jacket, a keychain that looks like the cat that follows you everywhere. I'm already creating it right now. Limited Run Games. Hey, hit me up. Uh, yeah. But yeah, I guess that was the big hoopla that's going down on Twitter right now is Xbox is kind of looking kind of bad as far as like having exclusivity deals. More money for them, but this will retroactively start a domino effect that will lead people to go like, okay, why am I buying an Xbox? Why am I getting an Xbox Series X or S if all your games are just going to come out on There's now rumors that Indiana Jones will head over to PS5 in like summer of 2025. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm still probably going to play it on Game Pass because it's Indiana Jones. I'm looking forward to it. But if I were to wait 6 months, I could just pick it on PS5 on PlayStation. So why own an Xbox? That's the question as far as like a general consumer discussion. Why own an Xbox? Excuse me, it's burped into the mic. Gotta let it air in my stomach. I gotta go eat. But yeah, that's the thing is like you have to ask that question as a consumer, as someone who hasn't gotten any console. Why get an Xbox? Going into 2024, I think that's probably what's gonna start to be discussed now with the rumors that Hi-Fi Rush might be going to other platforms. Bethesda Starfield, I think I hear is the big one that might be heading on over to PS5. I'm like, shit, it's starting. Because for a long time, people were saying Xbox it wasn't Phil Spencer the one saying like, oh, we already lost. It's like, dude, do you really want to say that right now? You still have consoles out in the market. You really want to be saying that right now? It's like, yeah. People are already saying there's a possibility that entering 2025, 2026, Xbox is just a service platform and not a console platform. Don't get your hopes up too high, brother. I hate to be that guy, but we also from corporates. I guess Xbox wants to be the corporates, won't be greedy no more if more, what does that say? The heart is on there by Xbox. Yeah, like I said, it's because there's been rumors now for a couple of years that Xbox is just going to be a service only type thing, like for Game Pass and stuff, and make the money that way and stop selling consoles. And now with this stuff happening with Starfield and Bethesda Bethesda games like Starfield, whether they're developed by Bethesda like Starfield or published by Bethesda like possibly Blade or Indiana Jones, it's like. And with Hi-Fi Rush, long rumored to be coming to Switch and PlayStation. It's like, so why did I buy that again? Hellblade 2 might be coming to other consoles. Well, Temple, I mean, yeah, they could get the most sales. They still could. But, you know, like I said, the consoles. That'll be it. And in the console space, you really are just going to be PlayStation and Switch, which will then give those higher-ups more reason to be like, oh, you want to, like, especially between the two, especially Nintendo, even though PlayStation has done some anti-consumer stuff much more routinely than even Xbox. Nintendo's the one that I'm like, oh, you were trying to mod that game? So here are these papers. It's like, I don't know. Anyways, Temple and everyone that's watching, thank you for this quick stream. I'm losing my voice. I can't entertain any more discussions because I definitely want to stop it here before we get into this whole discussion about the console wars or lack thereof, I should say. I'm also hungry. I'm gonna go warm up a lasagna dinner or pesto ravioli dinner. I think maybe. And rest the voice because, like I said, I just filmed a 45-minute video on one of those Beast Kingdom figures that will be coming in the next week or two. and I just did a full hour and a half live stream. So thank you, Temple. Hey, 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 ha, 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 who just joined the stream. But yeah, when the whole Insomnia leak happened, there was also leaks saying Sony's very concerned with Xbox. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird time we live in. To the point where we are now entering February, and I have not bought a day one game. I haven't bought Tekken 8. I haven't bought like a Dragon. I've just been whacking away. I've been whacking away the backlog. That's all I've been playing. Backlog stuff. ODK, DK. What's your favorite Spider-Man series? Game, movie, TV show? What? Real quick. I'm about to end the stream. Real quick. But yeah, Temple, Natezilla, Tom, Bland Boy, hey, ha ha, All Out Gamer 24, and ODKK, and everybody else who watched the stream, who lurked. Thank you for watching. Thank you for viewing. Any movie, I mean, I guess I got to go with Raimi because it was the most consistent, even though the third one had problems. TV show, I almost want to say animated series, but I'm going to go with Spectacular Spider-Man. Comics, I haven't really read enough for the comics. I think I have to fix that, especially with the free time that I have. And then games, I guess I have to say the Insomniac stuff. Even though I feel compelled, especially after recording the essay and getting into the weeds of editing, I've been having a little bit of an itch to possibly play and maybe even stream some Web of Shadows. Maybe some Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time, Spider-Man 2, the movie game. I don't know. We'll see where we're at in the future. But all you guys, take care. Have a great rest of your weekend going into the work week here. And I'll catch you guys later. In the meantime, though, stay humble and take care. Adios.